Hey, you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Bourgeois Latte, live in full effect, and Latte Java Juice Radio, you guys. We're live on Instagram and on Latte Java Juice Radio. So, I have a special guest that's coming through. Yes, I have a special guest. His name is Mawule, Mawule Music Company. And yeah, we're about to start in a few minutes. So hey y'all, what's going on? Dope amazingly, what's going on? So in a few minutes, let me call him in. He's definitely someone you guys need to check out. Hey, he's a really cool dude. So I figured, we have so many independent artists out, and artists, why not have someone who does music and can tell us about music? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Why not have someone who's in the business, who wants to help others, and who's also an artist himself? And his music is amazing. He's done a lot of things. And yeah. Hey, on the radar. Hey, guys. Sean Wazulu. What's going on? Dope amazing. I love that. Dope amazing. I know that's right. Shoot. You know? But I'll play his track. So I think it's pretty dope. Hold up. Let me get this in order. It's called Red Light. Okay. Yeah, I had to play that, Mahule. I had to give you a little intro. You know
Thank
what?
you.
I saw
Okay.
someone skating to this. I saw a little post you put, and I think it said Black Excellence, and they were on the, skating rink, and they were just gliding, sliding. I was like, yeah.
Oh,
I was,
know.
I
I
was
know what
feeling
video you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah. Hold 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me get you in. All right, all right. Make sure we hear you clearly. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Let me turn this up. Had it kind of low. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Mawule. I've been doing music for about since 2012
Okay.
professionally.
Okay.
Um, Prior to that, I was pretty much just writing music, doing open mic nights, wherever I could just to create exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, it's been a fun journey. From doing the artist thing, doing shows, and now kind of operating more on the business side and supporting other artists. So I always like to say that I'm an artist that really wears a lot of hats when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to the business.
Okay. Okay. And that's a good thing. I think that's so important for artists to have many hats.
Yeah.
I've noticed that you've worked with someone. I saw something. Her name is Marina. Um,
Hmm.
and there's someone else. He's into music production. Glenn Sawyer. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay. So what project is that? What is that about?
Marina is actually one of my clients.
Okay.
Yeah, so I work with her on essentially coaching her, developing her, helping her develop brand, and then when it comes to the music that she's releasing, how to go about to release it the right way and follow all the different metrics and kind of be aware of when to pitch to the editor and Spotify and essentially creating a release plan for a
Okay.
whole entire project. And Glenn is the producer that I also work with for my music, but he's one of the producers and owners of the Spot Studios, and so I work with them frequently as well.
Wow. Because I'm telling you, I think what you guys. Let me just introduce my Mawule. Okay. Um, he's an artist. He's an artist just like you guys. He's a regular guy just like you guys. He wears many hats. Your name, I love, Mawule. Only God knows. I looked that up because I had to find out what that name means, and that's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I noticed that you've just done so many different projects. And I kind of felt like it was so important for me to reach out to you and to do this interview because what attracted me to you was that Mawule Music Company, when you started posting about a lot of different things that a lot of artists need to know about what's going on in the music industry, far as taxes, how you got to pay your taxes, how to market yourself, how to get codes. Like there's a lot of things that, a lot of artists don't know. They think that they can just go on DistroKid and be like, okay, I got a track, boom, I'm about to make money. You know what I'm saying? Or,
Yeah.
I get all these streams or, this is it, like
Yeah.
there's some steps to this.
Hmm.
And with you being an independent artist and you have your own company, you book consultations. So what type of consultation is that? Is there a fee and why are you doing it?
So for me, the company, I really built the company to help independent artists. That's
Mm-hmm.
essentially why I built the company. For when I started the industry, I'm always the type of person that wants to work smarter and not harder. But the whole journey for me was working harder and not smarter. And so it wasn't until, I would say about 2016 that I was like, man, I'm just gonna take some time off from music and just study, ask questions, figure out how revenue is actually generated because you do a show and you market the show and everything for 2 months or whatever and come out with very little money, but you spent all this time perform doing the show, marketing and all of that. And so having those experiences, I'd said to myself, how do I work smarter and not harder? And so along the way, I pretty much learned everything that I needed to learn. And so I decided to create my Mawule Music Company because I was doing a lot of mentoring and I was doing a lot of support for independent artists. And so I decided to make it official and represent myself as a company and really operate at that level, still being an artist, but really operate at that level and put myself in different spaces. and support independent artists. So the consultations really focus on whatever the artist wants to focus on. And it kind of starts with meeting them where they're at. And so if it's an artist like one artist that I work with, he had over 1 million streams. And one of my first questions was, are you collecting all your money for all these streams, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so long behold, following up with him, and he was actually sent to me by one of his mentors who said, hey, you need to talk to this guy. He's gonna help you out. And so looking at his streams, he reached out to me. We had a meeting, and long behold, he had about 10K that was just sitting out there that he wasn't collecting.
Oh.
And so the whole journey was working with him to establish all the right portals, establish all his himself as a business,
Mm-hmm.
and then just creating the system to watch that money trickle in. And so the consultations focus on wherever the artist is at and whatever they need. And I kind of assess that too from the conversations and questions of what they know, what they need to know. And so, like I said, I cover all the bases when it comes to the industry. And so my consultations really focus on, again, what the artist needs and how best I can support them.
Right, right. Because a lot of them don't really know what's going on. And the
Yeah.
fact that you're taking the time to do that, that's really cool. I mean, there are people, there's sharks out here. There are people out here that just about the money. And I get it. We all gotta eat.
Yeah.
We all gotta eat.
Yeah.
And I don't even blame a lot of independent artists, especially like, you know, I work with On the Radar and we do music reviews. I mean, there are some people out here that ask for a lot of money, $50, $100, $75 or whatever. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But, it makes me wonder sometimes. It's like, okay, you do have to invest in your career.
Yeah.
Because it is a business. It's like a job. You do collect a paycheck. I mean, I think sometimes artists don't realize that it's really a job, but it's a fun job.
Yeah.
It's your passion, right?
Right.
So they tend to forget, like, I gotta pay for this. I have to play this one clip here.
Okay.
Okay, that caught my eye.
Okay.
And I was like, man, a lot of artists need to know this. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. So 1 second.
Yeah, when them folks come with the auditors on, you stuck in the middle of the, now you owe $2 million, you got $700,000, you just had $3-4 million, what you need to spend your money. That's what happened with auditors. It don't be you going broke. Yeah, spending. We be going broke, not paying your tax. Paying tax on everything, because most artists, the first 3 years, you don't know what's going on. So this is what happens. Boom. Now you owe taxes from 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. But you never knew you were on it, so you just keep spending money. Yeah. Then when the folks come with the auditors on, you stuck in the middle of the, now you owe $2 million, you got $700,000, you just had $3-4 million, what you need to spend your money. That's what happens with auditors. It don't be you going broke. Yeah, spending. We be going broke, not paying your tax. Paying tax on everything.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's true. I mean, you get $2-3 million and then you go and spend $2-3 million. Like, no, brother, there's taxes to this. Like, you just can't go and spend the whole $2-3 million and not pay your taxes. I mean, that's that's a little, out of touch. But I don't know. Maybe it's because we see all the flashy cars and the jewelry and the money and I just hope that some of these independent artists are investing their money. I think it's so important to invest. So, what are your plans? Because I know I've noticed that you also one of your songs got selected for a film festival a couple of years ago. So tell me about that.
So the music video you're talking about is the music video for Anything. And one of the things that I work with a lot of artists on is how do you plan ahead with your projects? I think a lot of artists just want to, release a song. If they're going to shoot the music video, they shoot the music video and then just put it out, right? There's no forethought of like, oh, if I built a music video like a story, I can submit it to film festivals or kind of put my music and myself in all these different places. And that's another thing that I work with artists on. And so for that particular project, I already had the vision for it. And I was like, I want to do like a tribute to my parents who, you know, were dual income earners and, you know, worked so many jobs all the time. And, you know, they provided for me. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so in that particular song, I was like, how do I recreate my story
Right.
with my lyrics? And so I ended up working with Mia Janae, who has shot a bunch of music videos, but this song was like very special to her as well. And so I took some time. She lived in LA. I flew out here. She stayed with me for a weekend, and we mapped out everything with her, Eric Hernandez, shot the video, and afterwards you know, kind of. I think most people also don't think about a release plan for a music video. The same way
Mm.
that they release a song, most artists don't think about going through that same path of like research, marketing, and everything for a
Mhm.
music video. And so we did that of like, when were we going to release the music video within that timeline? And then in addition to that, we had a bunch of film festivals that we wanted to submit to. And I think we had over like 200 or something. And we landed in five. But those five, you know, earned that particular music video film laurels for the selection. We did win one Best Music Video at the DC Film Festival Award.
Wow.
But through that, I had so many other networks now that discovered me from those particular spaces. And so, yeah, I coach a lot of artists on that as well too. Is like, hey, don't just shoot the general music video. Like, be creative, be thoughtful, because
Mhm.
here's where your content and your music can travel. And you don't even have to physically travel, but like the project can travel if you're just a forward thinker about what you want to do with your music videos.
Mhm. And sometimes, like with your music videos, they don't have to be um expensive.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It could be something so simple. And
yeah,
if it's so simple and if you have a lot of passion for it, it's
hmm,
going to show. I
yeah,
like simple,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
that video is very simple. A lot of people ask me how much it costs to, you know, produce it, and they're always shocked when I tell them like how much it costs me. But like I said, you know, when I work with Mia, it was all like, hey, what do we have that we can use so we don't have to go
Mhm.
purchase or blah 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 blah. Like we even thought about renting spaces, and you know, when she came, you know, we looked around Denver. She's like, oh my God, we can just shoot almost everything in these different areas, you know. And she has a great vision. She used to shoot commercials, and that's how I found her,
Oh,
from
wow.
some of the commercials that she shot for my brother and just her passion projects. And I was like, yo, I like your vision. I want you to work with me in this music video. And I think the music video was one of her first music videos that she's ever shot. But when you look at it, you can't tell that it was, you know, this is her first project. Like it's brilliant.
Wow. And I feel like when people do that, that's kind of cool. The fact that this was her first music video. I feel like any artists and directors and, filmmakers should try something different
Yeah,
because sometimes, for an example, your music can fit all genres.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
that's good.
yeah,
That's very good.
yeah.
Because now you didn't place yourself in a box,
Hmm,
and that's what you don't want to do as an artist, is place yourself in a box. You
hmm,
want to be able to do all types of music.
yeah,
So when I hear your music, I'm thinking like, damn, you can go R&B, pop, Seal. I was thinking about Seal when I was like, damn, this is something that Seal was singing. um,
yeah.
you know
I
what I'm
get
saying?
I I get compared to Seal a lot, and I love it.
Really?
And yeah, and I've been trying to. I follow him on TikTok, and I always try to like tag him, and you know, just so he can go to my page and see something. But yeah, everyone tells me I sound like Seal, so I'm always making those comments in his TikTok.
Wow, because yeah, that vibe, that
Yeah,
song, yeah, it definitely has that Seal vibe, but it has your vibe. You
thank
know what I
you.
mean? It's
Yeah,
not just him, it's just you can be creative, you can do it all. And
thank
I
you.
think that's so important. You're welcome. It's so important to be versatile.
Yeah,
Um, you even did a little hip hop. I was like, okay,
the
okay,
whole
boy.
the whole album, honestly, like since I don't know, there's pros and cons to it. Because when I started, ideally, I told myself that I want to be an artist that can say that I can write to anything and I can write
Right.
to almost any topic. And so when I started as an artist, you know, back in 2013, 2012, that was my mentality at the time, right?
Okay.
And I did that. And growing up in the career, there are times when you do a lot of interviews, everybody wants to box you in because they want to make their work easy to describe you and all of that, right? But they're not writers who can just take you and say, "Oh man, like you said, he can do pop, he can do all these things." Most people don't want to do that. They want an
Mm-hmm.
artist to have an identity. And so I wouldn't say I necessarily went through a career crisis later on because I'm tired of being compared to this, and this, and I don't fit in this box, that box, or this box, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did go through a crisis where I'm like, okay, I have to fine tune my sound a little bit because what I wanted to accomplish, I accomplished. So how do I transition to, you know, the new trend or, you know, essentially stay relevant, right? And so I don't
Right.
think a lot of artists go through that an identity development phase where it's like as you're growing within your career, you're growing within your writing, you're growing within your messages and all of that, you know. And so I think for me, that's something that throughout the career I've learned to just evolve and I've learned to just be more observant of how I want to shape my own development. And so like right now I have, you know, about five 3-song EPs that I haven't released.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them is very much a Daniel Caesar type vibe,
Ooh.
or a her type vibe. And you know, I collaborated with my artists that I manage, two of the artists that I manage. I collaborated with them on it. And so I have a reggae project with a local
Ooh.
reggae band out here
Okay.
who, you know, one of the bandmates I went to high school with, and they brought me on a project. So I wrote, I sang, they did all the instrumentals. So I have all these different projects that I'm sitting
Oh,
on that I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how do I best put it out? And with everything that I've learned, how do I do it successfully? Because I do want my projects to go to the next level.
oh,
And
absolutely.
so that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, I have two animation music videos that I haven't released yet that tell a story. You know, I'm thinking about the film festivals for those different projects. And so I'm in a phase of planning right now. In addition to running the company, my artist brand is in the phase of planning right now because I have all these projects that are still relevant when it comes to messages and everything. And so in the incoming years, there's definitely going to be more of me in terms of
Mhm.
even my elevation and creativity and what I can do.
That's longevity right there.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? It is because you have to definitely think outside the box. I mean, you're planning, all these different projects, and that, that's the only way you're gonna get your music heard and
Yeah,
get the world to hear who Mawule is,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So, man, you got a plan, and that's good. You definitely got a plan,
yeah.
you know? So during quarantine time, did you have time to think about what you want to do? Did it affect, your music, far as, concerts or, performances or certain events that you probably had, booked and had to cancel due to the COVID-19? Like, did that affect you as well?
I would say more positively. So
Okay.
during quarantine time, that's when I enter different spaces when it comes to the industry.
Okay.
And so one of my mentors, I'm not going to put out his name, so everyone who's following like goes and creeps on him and all of that. But one of my mentors, who's a senior A&R at one of the record labels, quarantine time was when I met him. Quarantine time was when I connected with him, and that's because during quarantine time, I was taking advantage of all the label execs all of a sudden being on Zooms and being on panels, you know, and doing all these other things. So I actually left my full-time job at the
Wow.
university and started building the company during quarantine time. I was backed and almost every day with consultations, helping artists kind of use the time as well to set up their back end of their business because now they
Mhm.
can't tour and do any of that. And so quarantine time was actually like very successful for me because that's when I actually took the full pivot, built the company, started networking with label execs. So now I even pitch to label execs if I have artists who have great music and they want to see if it so and so artist of this label might pick up their song for their album and all of that. And so I entered certain spaces that I never entered in my career before. Even sync licensing, I entered several spaces in that space with like pitching music, and so now I have different partnerships that send me music briefs for different shows, and Euphoria, Atlanta, where at one point in my
Wow.
inbox to pitch music for them. And so quarantine time for me was a successful time. I wasn't struggling and having a lot of issues like most artists because, like I said, for me, I'm always strategic. You know, I don't do things the way that most artists do. So
Mhm.
when, yeah, they couldn't do shows, I'm like, I've done shows. You know, shows were not my main source of income. It never was. And
Mm.
so I just found a way to pivot.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Can you give us a little hint of who this A&R person is? I'm
I
being
mean,
loose.
I follow him. I follow him. So
Oh damn!
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go check out the follow because I'm no. See, you shouldn't do that.
I'll send you his page after this.
All right, all right. I
Yeah.
won't say anything though. Do you want me to say something? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah.
But man, you know what? I hope these independent artists are listening. You dropped some gems. You definitely dropped some gems because a lot of them don't know where to start. I've had some people, DM me and say, "Hey, I'm just trying to figure out what you can do for me." And I'm like, I can do a lot of things for you. First of
Yes.
all, share your music. I'll definitely do that. I
Yeah.
will be honest with you because sometimes people will, won't be honest and say, you know what, you may need a little work on here, a little work on
Yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? I think it's so important. I wouldn't want them to be that person where they get taken advantage of and they spend all that money for someone to listen to a song for 2 seconds and yeah, man,
Yeah.
that was great. And then nothing, they didn't get anything out of it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I just think that's awful, but also you have to be smart
But I
and
think
really do your homework.
But I think you're right. It's like as an artist, it's like what are you chasing, right? If you understand that you're running a business, right? Every outreach, everything you do is a business move, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And every business move is supposed to either bring it's supposed to be mutual, right? It's supposed to
Mm-hmm.
bring you some level of success or connections and it's supposed to be beneficial for me as well. So in that simple example, it's like, okay, cool. Let's say someone's like, all right, send me, and that happens a lot, right? Where all these people are trying to scam all these different artists, and they're like, send me $100 and I'll send it to blah 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 blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you would know if you know the industry is that that's not how it works, right? Someone has to either been in communication with you, or if you are that talented, right? They need to come begging for you. They shouldn't be asking you for money, right? And so if that was the case for me, I'm like, that $100 that I'm gonna give it to you, all right, cool. I'm gonna put $20 towards like a TikTok campaign or a TikTok promo, or the other $100, like what else can I do with it, and so I think, right, when artists understand the business of what they're doing, you're not just going to throw your money away. You're going
Right.
to make sure that you're going to put your money in places where it's going to give you some sort of like return on investment,
Absolutely.
and so that's where artists have to be smart. But if you're just chasing fame or you're just chasing clout or whatever that is, right, you're going to get into these situations where people are going to take advantage of you. But if you're not that type of person, you're going to question that person on the other side and be like, all right, what am I really going to get from this? You're going to ask them so many questions that they're going to block you, which is what happened to me most of the time when people slid my DM trying to like ask me questions or tell me to give them money and all of this, right? They end up blocking me because I have all these other questions. I make them realize that I'm not one of these artists out here that they can just scam.
Right, right. And it's crazy because it's like you said it because I was just about to say clout chasing because sometimes um some independent artists think that people have all these followers,
Hmm.
like they'll see the blue check or
Yeah,
they'll see all these followers in this particular person because TikTok is a big thing. I truly believe that
yeah,
you can really blow up if you go on TikTok.
yeah. I agree.
There's so many artists that I've found or I've heard
Yeah,
before they even blew up.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
they were on TikTok.
Hmm.
And it's just and they were promoting themselves
Hmm.
and putting, having your music circulate to different curators, Spotify,
Hmm.
iTunes. It's just I've seen it all. I just hope that they understand that they have to work for it. They have to
Yeah.
be their own big mascot and cheerleader
Hmm.
and manager and
Everything,
lawyer. Yes.
everything, everything. And then you get to the place like I have a lawyer that I work with. on all my business contracts and
Mm-hmm.
everything for my business. And so as you grow in your career, right, it's like you get to the stages where you're like, okay, I need this person now. I need this person now. I need this person now. Or they'll find you and then you bring them on your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to put in the work to know who you need on your team. I think everybody else wants all the, manager and all of that to be there right then and there. But they have to understand like the manager is not gonna make you their full-time job if you're not making enough money for them to, have a salary or to have an income, right? And so you have to get yourself to the point where someone's going to see you as a possible, okay, cool, we're going to be in business together. Here's what that's going to look like. But as an artist, you're supposed to determine that. You're the one who's supposed to make that negotiation. And most artists don't think that.
Yeah, sometimes they think that the person that works for them or helping them is the person that's supposed to be getting all the work for them, but
Mhm.
they are the ones that have to put in the work.
Yeah,
I don't think they understand that process.
yeah,
I mean, it's this one lady, oh God, I can't remember her name. Her name, she said something. She said, I would rather work 16 hours towards something that I'm passionate about than to work 6 hours towards something that I love.
yeah,
And I was like, damn, okay. All
yeah.
right, I get it.
Hmm.
So basically, independent artists, if you're passionate about your music, if you're passionate about your art, you have to work 16 hours,
Yeah,
actually more,
yeah.
but you can't
When I
sleep.
when I tell so like I was doing a budget analysis the other day,
Hmm.
just to see where I'm at, because everyone's like, "Yo, how did you do this? How did you get there?" Blah 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 blah, right? And I used to work for the University of Colorado Boulder as a hall director, 8 to 5, and then from there I'll be in the studio sometimes to 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then I have to do an hour drive back to the city, and that was like my route every day when I was working on the album and all of that, right? And when it came to marketing, I think I spent close to 10 to 12 K on the marketing side, right? For the whole entire project. It was all planned from the whole year, what I was going to allocate all this money to, the film festivals, all of that, right? And so till this day, right, when I'm hosting, Throwback Thursdays on features and all of that, everyone's like, yeah, how did you do it, right? But the thing is, I invested, and that investment got me all those connections back then who still follow me. Always are like, hey, you got any new projects coming up so we can listen, feature, blah, 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 blah. But it took the work back then for me to
Hmm.
be in this stage, for people to know who I am, or for an organization to reach out to me and be like, hey, we got a show coming up June 6th. We want you to be the headliner for it. I'm not going out to beg for these opportunities. They're coming to me because I invested my time, money, and energy to cultivate those things, knowing that it was going to be fruitful for me later down the road. And so a lot of artists don't think about that. They're not forward thinkers about their projects and, their money and, the different opportunities and spaces they can be when they just take the time and plan, when they just take the time and execute, and when they just take the time to learn the business.
Yeah, I think it's because they're so busy, they're so passionate. I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, I didn't when I was trying to do this radio thing, I was like, oh, I'm trying, it's gonna be a hobby. And then when I started to learn it
Yeah,
and then started to like really sit down and did my research and had friends to help me along the way, you know what I
yeah,
mean? I was like,
yeah,
this is nothing to play with. But I love music.
yeah,
And I love helping people, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So, you can't half step if it's something that you truly want to do. And I think a lot of it has a lot to do with not knowing. They really don't know. But you need to write a book. Have you ever thought about writing a book?
I thought about doing a lot of things.
Or like
I,
have an ebook?
I've thought about an ebook. I've thought about writing a movie script. I've thought about like you name it. The thing is like when I realized when I reflect on my career is like everything I said I've done it. And
Yeah.
so at some point down the road, right, if I want to write a script, I know that's something that, when I'm there, that's going to be my next goal. That's going to be my next focus, right? And so, yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do. There's a lot of things I want to do, but as you can see, I'm a planner. So
Got
everything in its time.
Absolutely, I agree. I
Yeah,
agree. I was just about to say, so you seem to like really like film festivals. I
yeah.
mean, is there really? I'm not going to say big. I was going to say is there a big income, but is there? I don't want to say longevity, but far as your music being played,
Hmm.
like there was this one movie. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was Zendaya in it, and Denzel Washington's son that was in this movie. And there was this one
Oh yeah,
artist,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about? And he
yeah.
did this one song, and I was like, damn, this song is tight. I like this. It had a nice little after dark vibe. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to look up this song. I was checking the movie out, but there's something about soundtracks. I think with any movie, if there's a really good soundtrack, people are gonna like stick to it. They're gonna watch the
Hmm.
movie. But
Hmm.
it's really the music. It really
Yeah,
is to
yeah.
me when I talk about like film
Hmm.
or like film festivals. I don't think artists know that
Hmm.
people actually really listen to the music. If you think about the music in the 80s,
Hmm.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the
Yeah,
tracks, the 80s music, like I remember the scenes, I remember the
yeah,
songs, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I don't think a lot of artists today, they don't really understand that people really listen to the music.
Hmm.
Just like how I was talking about Zendaya and that movie and that particular song where went outside and smoked a cigarette and she was in deep thought, but that song was like, woo, and I was like, dang, I need to find out who that artist is.
Hmm.
So far as a movie, when they depending on how many times, let's say, because it's on Netflix, so you can imagine how many times that movie has been watched. That can build as a really good income,
It can. So
correct?
you usually when it comes to movies, particularly sync licensing, it's a there's different payouts, but majority of the time it's a payout, and then it doesn't matter how many times you stream whatever, you're not gonna get that money. TV is different, where every time it airs, you will get those back end royalties from depending on what the contract is or what you sign.
Okay. Okay. That's why I was trying
Um,
to figure it out. Like
yeah,
there's a
but it is
clause.
yeah, but it is very lucrative. Ideally, sync licensing, music licensing. As long as you as an artist have set up your back ends and everything to show that you own the music and you can clear your own music and all of that, then you have all the tools you need to be able to pitch to a music supervisor. And most artists don't have those tools. And that's why music supervisors a lot of times are very reluctant to work with independent artists, because most independent artists don't know the business, you know? And so like when you're doing outreach, it's like there's specific things you're supposed to say, you're supposed to include to let the music supervisor know, oh, this kid's actually legit. All right, let me take a listen to their music, right? And you're not pitching to just some random person, but you've done your work on the back end, which is a whole nother story that I can even go into an hour conversation about on that, right? And so,
You can come
like
back.
so for me, like, I would say like if I had to calculate in the past year all the sync briefs that have been sent my way, they probably total to over $500,000, of payout that I could have got. Let's say if I were to have landed or sent in and landed all those placements, even more than $500,000, right? I have just one for the payout being 100K for one song and just like 15 seconds of the song. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
The payouts for the commission for sync, like I said, they range from it can go as little as $100 to 200 to, you know, 15K to more. So sync is very lucrative, and that's why I took some time to study it and learn it. And now I've been blessed to be in spaces where I get those opportunities to present music. But yeah, it's very lucrative, and so it's any artist can do it, And at the end of
Hmm.
the day, like it has changed. Music supervisors always talk about how they're able to break artists sometimes because they air an artist song on the show, and the next thing you know, the artist went from having 100 listeners to 500,000 listeners because
Hmm.
that night everyone after the show is like, "Yo, who is this artist?" Like you said, and then you're on there
Yeah.
checking out the record, and so sync
Hmm.
sync is actually a strategic way then an artist can break themselves if they want to just focus on that, right? You can take a month or so, 2 months or whatever, learn the business of sync, start doing outreach and all of that, and next thing you know, just like a TikTok, it can change your life if you're able to make the connection with the music supervisor and they break you, and so that can happen and it does happen.
Wow. It's, you're giving, you're telling the whole world, about how that they can make money. And it's funny because most artists wouldn't be sharing this information, wouldn't even share this. I mean, to you, it's like, hey, this is what it is. And
Mhm,
some artists, some people in general
mhm.
wouldn't even share that knowledge. They
Yeah.
wouldn't even share that information.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what my Willow Music Group is for. Like every advice that I'm sharing on there is things that I believe in, things that I've done. And so my thing is like, why am I gonna just get on or create the content when someone's already done it and I do agree with it? Let me give them the credit and share like the body of knowledge that's out there. And so that's what it's for. Everything that I post on there, I believe in, I do consultations in, and I do one-on-one to teach artists how to do it. And when it comes to just even planning, most artists would bring me on their consultations, not consultation, but release plans as a
Right.
consultant just to help them and have an extra critical eye to say, hey, should I release it on this day and rather than this date, and why? And what do I need to be mindful of? What do I need to be on the lookout for? So if this thing hits, I know what the next thing is for me to do, whether it's putting more money into the fire or so forth. So artists don't think about that one, but when I do release plans with my artists, we strategize every piece of their whole entire 2 to 3 months of their release. So it's not just out in the willy-nilly just releasing, but everything they do is calculated, and when they hit a certain achievement, they know exactly what the next level needs to be.
Wow. Wow, that's something. You know, have you ever thought about, like, I mean, how do you feel about collaborations? I always feel like when independent artists have a track that's coming out, and I don't I don't understand why they don't see it as a good way to work
Mhm.
with other independent artists. Like,
Yeah.
for an example, like YouTube channels, like people will hit me up like a follow for a follow,
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I noticed that a lot of independent artists have a problem with that unless they're collaborating and doing something together.
Hmm.
But it's actually really helping you when you're networking with other independent artists that are doing the
Yeah.
same work.
Yeah.
I don't know if they think that if they do that, they'll lose something, or he'll
Hmm.
make it before I make it, or she'll make it before I'll make it, or I don't know. It's like I don't understand what the problem is, or is it just the fact that we don't understand the art of networking? Does that have something to do with it, or is there something missing? I'm just trying to understand because I didn't grow up like that. I understand what networking means and sharing. But then I
Yeah.
understand when there's someone that's just in it, just to, they're
Hmm.
around you just to get something out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't understand it. And have you ever had that problem with an artist?
Um, yes and no. So, when I started my project, I did a lot of collaborations. The album has a number of collaborators on there, from Copa Stone from Jamaica, to A Meezy here in Denver, an artist by the name of Journey, my boy DJ Zenus. So I'm always the type of person, if I want to collaborate with you, I know what you can add to my art, and I know you're going to be excited about what I'm bringing to you. And at
Mhm.
the end of the day, if I'm doing a show, I always want to bring you out to give you exposure as well too. So when I'm collaborating if I want to give people an opportunity as well. It's not necessarily beneficial for like, oh, I'm collaborating because I want this person on my record, but it's more of like, yo, how can we help each other? Through this collaboration. And obviously, when I collaborate with people, I don't just do a work for hire, but I actually give them a share of whatever they're writing. So if the song does blow up, they get their cut from their writer's share with my song. So it's for me when I do collaborations, I always say it's like a lifelong marriage with me. If I'm
Yes.
if I'm if I'm if I'm getting this song featured in a blog, I expect that my collaborator also shares it on on their page. And so
Right.
that's kind of how I go about collaborations.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of artists collaborate with people within their circle. And
Okay.
you know, when you collaborate with people within your circle, a lot of the times it's not going to go anywhere but stay within your circle.
Circle.
And I don't think a lot of artists kind of think strategically on that end, is that you don't always just want to collaborate with people in your circle. Like, reach out to other artists and collaborate with people in different cities, because that's how your name's going to be out there, when people know them and all of that. You know, if you're going out to their city, then and they're on a show, perform the song that y'all did together. You know, come out. You know
Right.
what I'm saying. So like, every artist doesn't think on that strategic level. And I think at the same time, so like for me, I do have a few projects out where I'm not the singer on it. And the
Mhm.
reason being is that though I wrote the song, I realized that my voice was not the best for this song. Like, if the song was gonna blow up, like I needed someone who, you know, like I had one of the songs who's like it's like a Sam Smith like type of record with,
Yeah.
you know, with I'm blinking on the name, but it was like a really popular record that Sam Smith did with one of the DJ pairs. I think Nirvana was one of them. I can't believe I'm blanking out on the song, but um, I did a song like that, and I found an artist by the name of Kid Astronaut here, and I'm
Kid
like, yo,
Astronaut.
Kid Astronaut, yeah, great
That
artist, great
sounds
Denver artist.
familiar.
Yeah, you probably seen him. I've shared a few of his work. But I was
Mhm.
like, yo, your voice is perfect for this song. And I know with your voice on the song, this song can go somewhere. The way that I market, the way that I go about my business. And so that to me is like a collaboration. But I think a lot of artists have the ego where they're like, oh, I wrote this song, I want to sing it, blah, 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 blah. But no, that's not the case, you know? Like, if you truly want to make it in this business, you can't keep everything to yourself. You have to branch out and collaborate and say, like I said, like, I'm not the best. Yes, I can sing, but I'm not the best singer for the song.
Right.
You, on the other hand, you will take this song and you will make it fire. So let's work, you know. More artists need to do that.
Because there are some artists out there that would make better songwriters than singers,
Yes.
or musicians. Like,
Yep.
there's some songwriters out there that can play instruments, and I'm
Yep.
like, man, okay. Because I've
Mhm.
heard some artists that really can write,
Mhm.
and I can actually hear the artist that should be singing that song.
Mhm. Yeah.
On the radar, when we did a music review last Sunday, he was telling me about, I think her name was Cal Famous. The girl can sing.
Yeah.
She can sing
Yeah.
and she can write. The lyrics were on point. And
Yeah.
I had said something, man, I can hear Doja Cat. This is something that Doja Cat would sing or something. It was a really good song. And
Yeah.
when I saw her and I couldn't, the face and the music, I was just like, wow, like I would have never thought that she sang that song. But
Mhm.
I don't know, it's just something about her writing skills. It was on
Mhm.
point. And like I said, some people
Mhm.
just have those writing skills. And a lot of people don't know that when you write music, you make a little bit more money than being an artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, you know,
I
eh,
think songwriters are definitely fighting in this time to get the credit.
yeah.
Not the I think the age of ghostwriting is going to disappear because everybody wants to, you know, get the credit due
You really
for
think so?
I do think so.
Hmm.
Unless an artist wants to, you know, kind of keep that under wrap, but I think ghostwriting is going to disappear because, you know, everybody wants to be known out there like I wrote this song, you know, like I am the
Yeah.
songwriter, you know, everybody wants to fully establish their careers in that direction where in the past it was frowned upon, right? Because the labels controlled all of that and the labels wanted, you know, Usher or whoever to have all the image as, oh, this is Usher's song. You know,
Right.
they didn't want an audience to see a disconnect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think it is going to disappear because the future is songwriters getting credit for what they do. And, you know, I mean, especially with social media now, everyone can access everything. So you do have
Right.
songwriters out there, you know, especially on TikTok, who were like, remember this record? Remember this record? Remember this record? I wrote it. You know, and like, oh shit, I didn't know you wrote those songs, and they're
Yeah.
just an ordinary person, you know. So
You're right. You're right. Because the more I think about it, there are some, like on TikTok, there are some content creators that get upset, where they do their voiceovers. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a couple of people, and I was like,
Yeah.
dang. And sometimes I think some people forget, because sometimes I forget to give credit to the person that writes something. It's not like intentional, like it's obvious it's not my
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have to go back, like, oh shoot, let me credit this person, because
Yeah.
they took the time and energy to put, to write this song,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I gotta go back. I
Yeah.
feel so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's, I mean, the future of the industry is changing. And I think independent artists are truly going to benefit from what's happening in the industry as long as they are mindful and aware of, we're entering the phase where you really got to be your own business person in this industry.
Mm,
Like the age of labels screwing you over and all of that is ending because they've been exposed. We've been known, but in this past year and 2 years and 3 years, it's out there. All their
yeah.
shadiness and all of that is out there. And so, you know, artists have to know the ins and outs of the business if they want to be successful. I always say it's not bad to bring on a label, but if you're bringing on a label, know exactly what you want their role to be. If you're not aware and don't know, then you're gonna be in that future situation where you don't make no money, but you're out here working hard, right? But I think artists like Russ is a great example in how they are very open and vulnerable about the journey and the reality of being signed and all those other things, right? And so I think more artists like that are coming out and exposing and essentially saying like, I want justice, I want fairness, I want my share, and
Mm-hmm.
so I always say we're entering the age of the independent artist. So if you get screwed or you're not being successful, then it's on you. Because right now, like the artists that I manage, I tell them that where we are right now, if TikTok existed when I started back, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, it'd be a
Mm.
different story for me. You know,
Why you
um,
say that?
because back then, right, it's like you didn't have easy exposure the way that you have now with TikTok, right?
Mhm.
Back then, you didn't have all these different softwares like ToneDen to help you do a marketing campaign for a release. When it came to Instagram has even developed even more to be more video friendly. I think when I started Instagram, you couldn't even do videos. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
was all
that's true.
pictures. It was all pictures, and so that's what I mean is like I know exactly how to take advantage of all these resources. So if I had them back when I started the industry, it'd be a different ball game.
Right. Yeah. You got a point. I mean, technology has taken over.
Yeah,
I mean, everything is streams. Everything
yeah,
is about streaming,
yeah,
you know? Um, there's music that I feel like shouldn't even be on air.
yeah. I would agree. I would definitely agree.
It's
I would definitely
upsetting.
agree. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that statement. Yeah,
And I want to hear more. I want to hear more about love.
yeah.
I'm just a hopeless romantic. I want to hear
Me
some
too.
R&B. I
Yeah,
want, I want that 80s, 90s R&B,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like this. If you have some 80s, 90s R&B on your
yeah,
playlist, that means you love different.
yeah. That's true.
You
That's
love
true.
differently. Not everybody like that. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
that's true.
If you don't have that 80s, 90s love on your playlist, mm-mm.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And so I think like yeah, artists who still write like that, um, keep the flame of R&B alive.
Oh yeah, you need it.
Yeah,
We definitely need it in this time. We definitely need it.
yeah.
I just feel like people need to feel there's a lot of mental illness going on,
Hmm.
and we really need it. And you know what? I think I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna have an after dark
Yeah.
hour. I think I will.
Yes.
I know a
Yes.
lot of artists. Man, whoo, if you see my playlist after dark, I
Hmm.
got Latte's love play. I mean, I even got
Set.
what I call it the sex release tape. And the only reason why
I love it. I love
the
it.
only reason why I said it, I put it that
Yeah.
way was the only way to get people's attention. It's sad that I have to do that.
Yeah.
I
Send
be
I
telling, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I wanna check out the playlist. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
send me the link. I'll follow it and check it out.
Yeah, because when I was on Station Head, I had them after hours. And I'm telling
Okay.
you, folks was coming in to listen because I had some music on there. Look, I
Yeah.
got I got the music that make you get pregnant. You'll get pregnant within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about raunchy. I mean some
Some
really
love,
good
like
music,
real
some
love.
love. And
Yeah.
if you into that like the hopeless romantic Will Jordan. If you don't
Hmm.
know who Will Jordan is, you gotta have this guy on your playlist. Have you ever
Okay.
heard of him?
Mm-mm.
You gotta follow him.
Okay.
Will Jordan, he has written for Nicki Minaj and Rihanna. He's an
Okay.
independent artist,
Yeah.
and he's still an independent artist.
Yeah.
He could have easily gotten signed, and he chose
Hmm.
to not do that. He chose
Yeah.
to be his own boss. And I have
Exactly.
mad respect for this brother, mad respect. And his music is so beautiful.
Hmm.
I mean, he just really makes you feel like, damn, I could really love again. You know what I'm saying? His music is, but yeah, I'm gonna hook you up with this playlist, man,
Please do.
because
Please do. I need some
because
new
we need it.
inspirations.
Yeah, we need it. We really need it. But I would
Yeah.
like to. I kind of felt like if I was to create something like that, no one would listen to it.
Oh man. No, I mean TikTok is a great example if you look at it, right? TikTok is a great example because all the oldies are coming back and all the trends and stuff. All the old records are coming back, right? And so that just tells you, like, it was never broken, you know?
That's true. It
It
was
was never
always
broken.
here.
It was always there, and
Yeah,
that's the real music that people still love and people still connect to, you know? Like everything else now is all synths and all these other things, and so
yeah,
no, yeah, I think you have to put it out and then the people will naturally just gravitate to you and to that playlist.
yeah. Okay. I did start it though. I did one. I
Okay.
did one, and I was like, okay. I put on TikTok. It went really well.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of time, a lot of editing. You know,
Yes,
the
yes.
only thing because it's like, okay, I have to do this, the radio,
Yeah,
the interviews, like I have a lot of interviews coming up tomorrow.
yeah.
I have an interview. Um, I mean, it's like I'm constantly busy. I think that's the only reason why I don't really do it. But you know what? I'm just gonna do something really simple and straight. Like, hey, here's an artist you need to listen to.
Hmm.
Lattes After Dark or something. I'll think of something. It'll work. I'll make
I
time for that.
yes. And then when you do send it to me,
Oh yeah, I will. I will because I sometimes
I'll
feel
share it.
like please, I sometimes feel like it's harder for women,
Hmm.
in this industry, especially, when you're trying to share music and
Yeah.
um being that influencer, that voice,
Hmm.
we're not taken seriously,
Hmm. Yeah.
but that's not gonna stop me though. Nothing
Yeah.
stops me, you know.
Listen, you can't let it stop you.
Hell no.
You can't let it stop you, because
Mm.
the more you do, the more that you're going to be an example. So that's the way I kind of think of it when I think about my music and the type of music that I write is like, no one else is doing it. Let me do it.
Yeah.
And the people who will find inspiration will gravitate to me, will reach out to me, will connect to me, and those are the authentic connections that I want, anyways.
Mhm.
So yeah, can't let it stop you.
Definitely cannot let it stop me. There's one thing I want to ask you about, and I
Okay,
never heard of it. Song
okay,
trust.
yes.
What?
Songtrust is a pub admin, and so Songtrust is essentially, when you look at a song, you have um, the publisher,
Mm-hmm.
right, of the song who essentially owns the record, controls the masters and all of that, and then you have the writer share and the composition. So I always say to my artists is that when you think about the writer share is split into two. It's like the lyrics itself and then the instrumentation or the instrumental. That's the writing, the composition, all of it. And most people kind of get those two confused. And so
Okay.
Songtrust really administers the publishing of the record. The performing arts, like BMI, ASCAP, the performing
Yes.
rights organizations, they don't represent publishers. They represent songwriters. That's why it says performing, rights organizations. They represent the songwriters, the producers, and all of that. But when it comes to the publisher, a song trust is something that you must have because Song Trust goes and collects the publishing side of the money that your record generates.
Okay. I knew it was something different because I'm like, what is song trust? I gotta ask him what this song trust is all about.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, they're a pub admin.
Okay, so consultation, a fee. Is there a fee?
So I charge between 60 to 100 for the
Okay.
different consultations, and it kind of depends on what the artist wants to do. And we always talk about it so that way, if it's something that's going to require a lot of time for me before we even meet, so like release plans, I usually charge a little bit more because that requires me to know their deadline, have an awareness of like all their social media stuff. So when I build a timeline, there's a timeline that's reflective of what they're doing and where they're at. And
Okay.
so really basically I charge $60 for an hour session. I usually for the first two I give everyone like a 10% independent artist discount. And it, if someone doesn't have the money, I've done consultations for free. Majority of the time I ask that, if I'm doing a consultation for free, they give me some sort of video kind of talking about what they learned so I can use it to like promote
Yeah.
on my page. And so you'll see that on the page there. But I'm just here to help anyone. So I usually say don't let like my fees or money, whatever, be a trouble. Like whatever you need, let's talk. Let's meet halfway. 'Cause at the end of the day, I just want to help.
Man, that's pretty cool. And that's kind of you because it's hard out here. I've
Hmm.
actually had wanted to interview someone and very talented, he was a producer, and he was like $250 an hour. I was like, I, I just
Yeah.
want to interview you, but okay, I get it.
Hmm.
It's your time and your
Hmm.
worth. So at
Hmm.
first I got a little salty, but then I thought about it. I was like, you know what, this is his time. And, hey, I
Hmm.
can't knock it. He got to eat. Everybody got to
Yeah.
eat. I
Yeah.
can't afford you, bro. I said, when I
Yeah.
become like Angie Martinez, maybe I'll come back and ask you again. But Latte can't afford you,
Yeah. But even then, right? Even then, you know, it's like, yeah, you can do the 250, but someone just wants to chat with you, tell your story. My thing is like, if someone values that, they won't throw you that fee. If they don't
yeah,
value it, then they want you to pay them for their time. You get what I'm
ex-
saying?
exactly.
Um, and because I've done like panels, I've done speeches, and usually you either get an email that tells you, hey, we want to pay you to do this, blah blah blah. You go for it, or I'm doing a show for Safe House Denver, and Safe House Denver is like a nonprofit organization that provides safe spaces for people who've been through domestic violence, all of that stuff.
Oh wow.
And when they reach out, and I've done shows for them where I give like 50% of all my earnings to their cause and all of that. And so recently, like they reached out and they were like, "Hey, we want to do a show with you, blah 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 blah. We can't pay you for it, but we'll give you'll be on the marketing. It'll be good exposure and all of that, right?" And so like if you value the work, you value what someone's trying to do. So you trying to interview and tell their story and all of that, right? They value it. They're not gonna throw a fee at you, right? But
Right.
if they don't care, right? Not necessarily that they don't care, because I don't want my language to be misinterpreted. But
Right.
ideally, it's like not everyone's gonna approach you that way.
That's true. That's true. I just, I understand though. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I truly understand.
Yeah.
And, if it's your time, it's your time. And, sometimes when I hear that, I think that maybe that person has probably have helped many people and he didn't
Hmm.
appreciate.
Hmm.
So that's the vibe I got. And
Yeah.
you know what? That's cool.
Hmm.
But it would have been great to be able to share his story. But I'm just happy that you took the time out to
Yeah.
share your story with me. And I'm always going to support, and I'm always checking out, seeing what's going on with you.
Thank
And
you.
love your music.
Thank you.
And I would love to do this again soon.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'll definitely send you my playlist.
Yes.
Share it. And
Please do.
and I
Please do.
like the fact that you barter. I don't know. That could be another topic from another time. But the bartering system, as my mother used to say, bartering system here. There's nothing wrong with bartering. But it's 1:30 and this hour, it just flew by. Like, damn, it's having a good time. But
that's what happens. That's what happens when you're having good conversations.
Yeah, I love talking about music. I love it, and if I could, interview people that need help or needs to learn something or know something, I definitely always reach out and try to find those people that can help them. Yes, and I think you're just truly an amazing artist and
thank you.
Highly intelligent, and you definitely know your stuff.
Thank
you. You definitely gonna blow up. I mean, look, you already blew up, so you're doing your thing.
Thank you.
So you keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
We here rooting for you.
Thank you, and thank you for reaching out.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah, thank you for hanging with me. So you guys, the hour is up with Latte Java Drips Radio, and it's a Virgo morning show. You guys, if you want to get a consultation with Mawule, you guys need to follow him. Shoot, see, we need to put that on there. But I'll definitely, when I post this, I will let everyone know where to find you because, they need to know who you are, and I know that you can help them. And hey, it is what it is. So I'll see that playlist, and we'll chat later. Okay.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Bye. So yeah, you guys, that is Mawule, and I think I'm gonna play a little music. Finish that red light, or actually mirror mirror, and then we'll go on our way.
I'll be lying if I tell you that I don't think of you. Drawing pictures, making visions of the love that is true. Maybe, baby, we can paint it so I don't feel subdued. Then I know you feel the same way too. Can't we paint our picture with passion as we go and let our beauty flow? Our love will always grow. Together we will shine and blaze the path we go. Our love forever lasts. Will be a story to be told. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I met her at the ball. In the glass she's standing tall. Is this love after all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, do you see some of them all? Will we rise or will we fall? Tell me we'll make it through. 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 Come take a ride with me. I got my armor ready. We got some dragons to fight, but baby, I like the heat. Beautiful fair lady, I see you waiting for me. When you're ready, got the ladder, climb down this tower and follow me. Please believe I like this fantasy, but baby, don't wanna be dreaming forever. I wanna believe that this is for real. My mirror, is she my lady? Mirror, mirror on the wall, I met her at the ball. In the glass she's standing tall. Is this love after all? Mirror, mirror on the wall, do you see some of them all? Will we rise or will we fall? Tell me we'll make it through. 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 We'll laugh, we'll fight. It's never over.